now we move on. Syracuse. I had a commission from Light Work, and I spent like a month in Syracuse. It was excellent because 18 days in a row it rained, but it was also the state fair. So I was able to, I did a book called Syracuse, which happens to be a nice book, and one of my nicer books. So I don't know, I was so short. I talked my way into their house. They let me in, and I really like this picture. It's a beautiful picture. The family, look at no teeth, pretty enough, not enough money. Obviously, he had an eye injury. That's the daughter. I don't know if it's his sister or his girlfriend or whatever, but it's a good, I like, it's a personal picture I liked. This was in Syracuse. There was one street where they have so many places where they take care of people who aren't doing well, you know, physically, mentally disabled, okay? And I used to go to this corner, I forget the name of the corner, and every day I would go there because a lot of these people go and work in a factory or somewhere, do piecework. And then I'd buy them all chocolate bars and everything, and we become friendly. I got invited to the hospital. You know, I went to a dance at the hospital. It was great because all the kids there were trying to grab my girlfriend, you know, because it was pretty funny. Then I have a better story, which is in the book. Can I tell it?
Yeah, sure.
It was embarrassing for me. We went to a picnic, and there was a lady that worked there who I didn't know. There was only 2 or 3 people at the picnic besides me. One was a pretty girl in the back seat, and obviously she was a little bit off. And as we're driving, she starts telling me, "I want to fuck you." I said, you know, I got really like shy. How do you respond to that? I mean, me too, no. So it was embarrassing. We got through it, okay. But this is one of the guys, so what I try to do in these pictures is relate him to something passing in the background. These are all consciously done, okay? What I like about my style, when things are too perfect, they look set up, okay? So when you have things that are in motion or fluid, I try to make the things not perfectly, but they have to be done, but they have to be organic. In other words, this has to go to that, you know, that. Everything has to work organically, so your eye doesn't go like my EKGs, you know, like.
Yes.
This was a Miss Nude America contest. We drove to Roselawn, Indiana. It's a nothing contest, you know, someone just created a name. So this was the night before the contest. So, I don't know, she looked like she's gonna win the contest, you know, by everything. I saw how she looked, right? So I was smart enough to go behind this guy, and I got this picture that silhouetted him like, you know, he's everybody, any man looking at her. You know, a guy, he could be a pedophile, it could be anything, okay. Put him in between the screen and that. But the great story is, the next day, if you saw it in the movie, you said, "Come on, that's bullshit." The next day, a guy pulls up, an old guy in the backseat of a limousine with a cigar, and a young girl gets out, not as voluptuous as her, and she won the contest, you know, because the fix was in. But this was at a nudist colony. It was fun. I have some other pictures. They're not as good, but this is my one I like. Now, this one is at the Mardi Gras, and these are junior ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, people that from Texas A&M University, and they were there, you know, look at me, looks like about 12 years old, but I like it. All the pictures in here I like, so it's nothing, I have more. If you had more space, like the other place, I have more pictures. We left out tons of stuff, but thank God we're seeing it. All right, is it possible, you have any water? Before I started to become really Bruce Gilden, I worked in New York City without flash, okay? This one does have flash, but this is one of the earlier examples of flash that I used. Because I was very reticent to use flash because I'm not a technician. I didn't know, I'm slow to do things. Like the faces, I wanted to do the faces, wow, 20 years before I started. I mean, it took me 20 years to get to it. So I'm not slow thinking, I'm just slow in certain areas where I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. You know, I can't, there's an essay I've been wanting to do for 40 years, I can't do it because I need to get into certain places, and I'm not good at getting into places. You know, in other words, I'm not organized enough. All right, so this was taken on Broadway. This is the book Lost and Found. And these pictures, the reason we came up with the title Lost and Found is most of these pictures I could have put in my first book, Facing New York, but I didn't think they were good enough, even though I have a lot of good ones here, even though I don't think they're, you know, any ones that are really, you know, the most iconic. But and these, I didn't use flash at all, so I was taken with using the flash, so I didn't pay as much attention. This is on Madison Avenue. This to me was interesting because at this time, this is the time that Gerald Ford said to New York to go fuck ourselves, you know, drop dead New York. It was a New York Post headline because he didn't want to give us any money. So you notice, we're not doing well. Look at this sign on Park Avenue, 57th Street, which is one of the richest there, maybe the richest block in New York City. The sign is falling apart. This lady is like calling for help. I think she was crazy, okay? And this couple is saying, hey, fuck you, we're rich, we're walking away from you, okay? So that's all the symbols and the signs in the photograph. I like this picture.